Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I got some sad news. Hal Sperlich, the architect behind vehicles like the Chrysler K-Car and the Chrysler Minivan and the Ford Mustang, has passed away at the age of 95 at his home in Michigan. We got the news today, early this morning, from Automotive News. I wrote an article about it on Mopar Insiders this afternoon. And if you don't know who Hal Sperlich is, he is probably, again, the most revolutionary engineer that Chrysler and Ford has ever seen in the last century. The guy under the tutelage of Lee Iacocca at Ford, he started at Ford in 1957 as a product planner. He just graduated from the University of Michigan. He went there with an engineering degree and basically came up with huge ideas and was the main architect of what we know as the Ford Mustang. So in 1964, him and Lee Iacocca and a couple other guys kicked off the Mustang to huge success. And that vehicle went on to sell 400,000 units in its first year, something at the time that was unheard of, completely unheard of. And that vehicle itself, we know, spawned the pony car segment. But not only that, it spearheaded the muscle car segment going forward. So that was a very bold thing that Sperlich did at Ford. He had a lot of successes with different vehicles. And he was during the 70s, the mid-70s, when the fuel crisis had come on and they were trying to figure out how to build more fuel-efficient vehicles instead of massive Lincoln cars and stuff like that. Lee Iacocca and him came up with the idea. Well, actually, Sperlich came up with the idea, but Lee Iacocca was trying to make it, push it into production, was front-wheel drive compact vehicles. At the time, Japan did front-wheel drive compact cars, but the U.S. didn't. And Henry Ford II didn't want to hear anything about it, but they went forward kind of trying to develop things anyways. And one of those vehicles was the Mighty Max. The Mighty Max was this compact minivan that looked just like the full-size van, but just shrunk down. And Iacocca Henry Ford II hated that vehicle and said he'll never do one. And basically, he fired Lee Iacocca at the time. And Iacocca went to Chrysler in just like a few months because they were going bankrupt, and Iacocca thought he could save the brand and basically go against Henry Ford II. And he went to the U.S. government, got a federal loan guarantee, put everything on the line, and brought Sperlich with him to Chrysler. And at that time, Sperlich went about and created the Chrysler K-Car series, which went on to be one of the most successful lineups of vehicles ever from an automaker. So the K-Car is known to basically save Chrysler. They developed a ton of vehicles off that platform. Not just the Aries and the Reliant, but like vehicles like all the way from the sport coupes of the Dodge Daytona and Chrysler Laser to the Dodge Lancer sporty coupe, and then they went to the Dodge 600. So they developed a ton of vehicles on that platform. Now, right when they got done with the original K-Car series, now mind you, they hadn't expanded the lineup yet, but when they launched the Aries and the Reliant, they were looking at what should we do next to kind of, build on the success of that. And Sperlich said, let's build the minivan. His project from Ford, now that they had a platform that was like super successful, why not? So in 1983, they introduced the 1984 Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager. And then those vehicles totally changed the whole market. Obviously, in the 80s and 90s, everything, if you wanted some kind of family vehicle, everything was a minivan. And Chrysler was the first company to come up with the minivan, and basically Henry Ford II had to eat his words. They rushed the market with a Ford Ranger-based minivan called the Aerostar, which was not even close to being as popular as what Chrysler had, because they didn't have that front-wheel drive unibody architecture. GM rushed the market too and tried to do the same thing and couldn't, and because they based theirs on the S10, which again, body on frame, and it wasn't nearly as successful as Chrysler's. Throughout the years, even though Ford dominated in pickup sales, no one could touch Chrysler. No one could touch Chrysler when it came to minivans. And to this day, obviously the Chrysler brand has the Pacifica and the entry-level Voyager, and if you're in Canada, the entry-level Grand Caravan, and those vehicles are still selling like hotcakes today. Even though they have the stigma of being a soccer mom vehicle, when it comes to all-around best vehicle, bang for the buck, a minivan is it. They're the Swiss Army of vehicles. They do everything well, like extremely well. And, Sperlich, even though he's gone, his legacy is going to continue. I mean, he basically got into the Automotive Hall of Fame. He was an inductee in 2009. And with that being said, you think like, oh, he really did something to change the culture of the 80s and even the 60s with the Mustang, but with the 80s with the Chrysler vehicles and that. But today, I mean, again, the minivan segment is still strong. Chrysler just announced 2 weeks ago? Not even 2 weeks ago, that the Pacifica was still the best-selling minivan in the country. So, I think Sperlich's his legacy and his contribution to the automotive industry is going to keep continuing. So, sad to hear that he went, but he really was a revolutionary when it came to the automotive industry and for saving Chrysler. So, he's one of those names like Lee Iacocca, but Iacocca was the face of the company and got all the attention. Sperlich was definitely one of the brains that helped save this company. So, it's kind of sad to see him go, but such a great, life that he had. So I feel bad for his family. Prayers go out to his family, but his legacy will go on. So make sure to hit subscribe, and we got some more stuff coming out today. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video.